So hi guys, Nicole Scott here. I'm joined by Sasha Pallenberg and Steve Payne, aka Chippy. And we're here at MWC, we're in the Ericsson booth. And since the show has been pretty crazy for all of us, we thought that we would make a video for you, since you guys have been making videos for us.
Oh yeah, good job by the way, regarding the videos.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know who we're actually making this video for, the three of us are judges on the Ultimate Coder Challenge Going Perceptual. So this is a 7-week hacking extravaganza where 7 teams yes, make gestures with their hands. I thought he was crazy for a second, so yeah, we're gonna see if you guys can make us do the craziest gestures ever.
I'm doing the eye tracking.
So we thought that we would give you a bit of verbal feedback since you guys have been doing such a good job with the videos. So the one that works, and touch, and 3D.
Look at my hand.
So the first team that we're going to start off with, because you're top of the list on the blog, it's Code Monkeys.
Yeah.
So you guys have a game called
Stargate Gunship, is it?
Stargate Gunship, right?
I love it. I mean, I can't pick a favorite right now, right? But what I like about Stargate Gunship is they really try to get all the different angles and the different ideas of the perceptual computing SDK into this game. Whether they're using the eye tracking for the aiming and gestures for the shooting, and a voice control, voice commands for example, like reload. Give me the hand grenade, or and this is really smart, but it's also a little bit difficult to figure out which a gesture, which technology you're using for which specific command. But think about you're using a gesture to shoot, because you're shooting all the time in a shooter, right?
Yeah.
So would you like to do like this?
Yeah.
All the time? So they can only go for auto fire. Something like just this gesture means just fire, and this gesture means wipe them all out. Smart bomb. So it's a very, very complex idea, but perceptual computing is complex. It's going to change the way we're going to interact with our systems. But I really like it. I really like what I saw, the first demos, and what you guys said in your video. I think that was really smart.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to
decoupling of in the usual first-person shooters, where you're pointing is where you're going to shoot, right?
Yeah.
The center of the screen. I mean, I'm not a big gamer, but that's the way it usually is, right? So they've decoupled this idea. Now it's where you look is where you're shooting, and where you're pointing is different.
Yeah.
The only thing I think could be, apart from the complexity issue for the user, how responsive is it going to be? I mean, a shoot 'em up needs to be really responsive, right, for it to be fun. If you've got any sort of latency in there for shooting, or the eye tracking is not accurate, then the enjoyment factor is going to go right down very quickly. So,
well, and the other thing about looking to aim is it's that if you're really trying to create an immersive experience, when you look around the screen, it should almost like carry on your field of vision.
Yeah.
Right. So, is it head tracking for field of vision and eye tracking for aiming?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really complicated. It's really
like that thing, That.
I mean, we're talking about a bunch of dimensions here.
Yeah. And a bunch of dimensions that we as humans or computer users have never really put together before, right? I've never.
Well, we're putting it together in our ordinary offline world, right? We're growing up with it, but I think we need to relearn how to use a system in the future
on a 2D plane as well. And that's the other thing.
And if you're capable of making this intuitive, and we are kind of getting rid of this kind of barrier that we have in our heads. we need to get our heads around this, definitely, that this is also going to change the way we're using the systems.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because we're already trying to teach people to use Windows 8, right? And that's too much for the average person right now. And then we're going to add in these other things.
Oh my god!
Oh my
Just
god!
Look top left, the start menu.
I mean, yeah, but you're 100% right though. I mean, there's just so many different levels. Like even just with Windows 8 and the touchscreen interaction that people are having trouble wrapping their heads around. So this is really next generation stuff. So we're gonna move on to the
Infrared 5 and Brass Monkey.
Yes, that's what we're gonna do.
Let's do that.
It's kind of interesting. Thank you guys, because right behind our office.
That's my next video. Next segment. We should do that together.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So the infrared brass monkeys are doing the Kiwi Catapult Revenge.
Which doesn't sound like a popular game that already exists, right?
Well, supposedly, according to their post, it's popular in New Zealand now.
Well, no surprise there.
But isn't it supposed to be also a kind of racing game?
No, this is the one where there's birds, like the Kiwi birds.
Yeah, but you're flying. You're also flying through there.
Flying
This
through,
virtual
yeah,
world.
the
Is that-
virtual
am I
world.
looking at the wrong one?
Yeah, no,
it's a little bit of a racing game too.
okay.
Well, they had their demo video. Didn't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had this demo plug-in where I could just
Yeah.
Play the
race
game.
over this.
Yeah. It's this one down here.
There you go.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I downloaded the Unity player to try it out.
Yeah, so I was kind of wondering, is this like an Angry Bird clone? Is this a racing game? I thought it is more of a genre mix something.
So these guys. So let me just check. We're talking about Infrared 5 Brass Monkey, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are the guys that already have the game in browser using the Unity plugin. The controller is a smartphone for some of their games, right?
Yes.
And now they want to add head tracking to that as well. So but that's quite something. A bit like the Code Monkeys, there's a whole lot of stuff. So in this one, there's also the smartphone smartphone accelerometer input, and then you've got the head. So that's another new way of doing it. You know, you've got a controller rather than using your hands.
Well, I totally love the idea of having my smartphone as a controller, because I could put so much extra information of a game onto the smartphone display.
Yeah.
Right?
It is a
Plus,
secondary display, yeah.
it has an accelerometer, it's a gyrometer in there, it has sensors in there, and it has the
Voice.
speakers in there.
Haptics,
This is actually the most sophisticated game controller you can ever get. I'm wondering why the industry wasn't really picking this up at all. So I really like the idea. And what I saw, to put these 2D objects into a 3D world, this looks so surreal in a good way.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
artsy. It looks.
It does look artsy. It does look really nice. I do enjoy the aesthetic in this cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bring the money in.
Bring the money in.
Next video.
Yeah.
Next one.
My
Oh, sorry. 6 Ents.
Exactly.
And I keep writing. I apologise to 6 Cents. It's 6 Ents. Now,
Six Sense Studio.
yeah. Now these are the guys that are doing the Puppet platform, right?
yes.
Which I really like. And these are the guys that suffered almost the setback this week of the keynote on the PS4 showing almost exactly the same as they were planning. Now I really like the idea that they've kind of slept on that, come in the next day and said, right, actually we're doing this better. And by the end of their post, what I really like is the enthusiasm that they've got. That team seems to be really, really happy with what they've set out to do, where they are, and they just got so much excitement. You can see it in their posts. So I'm sure that's going to rub off on final products, you know. And I'm really looking forward, because I love this idea of the puppets and being able to do that. That really is going to be. My kids are going to love this one.
Yeah, my one thing with it was that when I was a kid, I could never get it to work, and then the strings would get tangled, and then I would spend more time undoing the knots than playing with the marionette.
Yeah, well, it's this untangle.
Auto untangle, yeah.
Yeah. So
I watched the PlayStation 4 keynote, so I can really relate to this.
It was a good demonstration, of course.
It was a great comment. But what I like about the blog posting is, well, basically we just saw a proof of concept here, and you're right. It's like, I mean, look at the whole industry. There isn't only one manufacturer building a laptop. There isn't only one smartphone manufacturer out there. There isn't only one mobile operating system out there that comes with icons with round edges.
Well, and like to this day, the amount of Instagram clones that are still newly being released on the market. I mean, coming right after the first one, or at the same time as the first one, that's actually.
Are people still using Instagram?
Well, it's the filters, right? No, it's just the concept of the filters. Like constantly. Well, as a Windows Phone user, I'm constantly going, God, is there a new, better Instagram clone package?
I'm sorry, there's nothing that's going to improve your photos. You still. Out the 808.
We've been fighting for 10 years to get amazing cameras into our smartphones, and now we're using crappy filter to make them look bad.
It's artsy.
Oh, okay.
That's the excuse, is it?
So, anyways, regarding Sixth Sense Studio, I love games where I can be creative. I love these virtual environments where I can build things. Look at one of the most addictive and most popular games and programs in just in the history of computers. The whole Sim series is built on creativity, building things. All these build-up games, Age of Empires, Anno 1700, whatever, super successful. And now here comes the killer, Minecraft. This is just a game for the nerdiest nerds and geeks you can ever imagine. There were people sitting down there building Starship Enterprise in the 1x1 size, right?
Yeah.
This is for weeks and months. So if you can create an environment where I can build things, when I can share these creations with others, you need to have the social aspect. If I'm even able to collaborate and work on some artworks together with other people, I think that's a killer.
Yeah, I think the art for this project in particular is going to be very important. Like just for like the wow factor of getting people kind of in and working around it.
Yeah, but that puts the singletons at a kind of disadvantage, you know. There's something we've got to remember when we do the judging of this is there's guys that are on their own doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, who's the guy that's doing the whole thing from scratch? The photo app. Is it Eskil? Who's doing
Eskil is doing the framework.
Right, it's Peter. Peter's doing the photo editing app, and actually we probably should talk about him next because he's a singleton guy.
Oh yeah.
He's got to do the whole thing in 7 weeks on his own. He hasn't got a team of image creators.
I love that.
It's an enormous project, and like I will send you some amazing rock mixes if this is what you need.
Thanks for the playlist.
No, and you're 100% right. There's teams, and then there's also individuals, and I think that the photo editing one. I mean, in my first post, I was like, I challenge you because we need this, right? Like you're using Photo Impact. Right?
I'm the one.
Well, you need this with your Instagram filters, right?
Yeah.
So you can have it's like a timeline of filters, right? And you can move them around. I think I see it as like a MIDI sequencer for photo editing, right? So you got your photos, and then you just put a whole bunch of edits, and then you can move them around. You can change their size or the impact they have on the photo, and see what sort of happens. And then you can, if you want to go back to the original photo, you can just play that back and get to the original photo. I love that idea.
I would love to see his idea as a web service. Not as a local app, but as maybe even as a browser plugin, right? Or as a service, a cloud service that I can connect to. Think about all these guys that are using, whether they're using a smartphone or maybe even a Chromebook, right? Or an Ultrabook where they are only using basically the browser. And kind of outsource everything to the cloud. There is no real decent photo editor in the cloud.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good point, and something that you actually...
A simple one, not a complicated
No, I know. But like Opera was playing around with the idea of a gestures plugin for their browser years ago. They made an ironic video, and then they went, oh wait, everyone took us seriously, we better actually do this. But I know that they've been working on it, because I think that because he's a single developer, I want to see shortcuts and like cheats almost, because like we need.
So
I really want to see the product get done. You know.
So with the current technology that these guys have, can they do in-browser gesture? So will the Unity plugin allow them to do all the 3D tracking in browser as well?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
So I guess that's what the Brass Monkey guys are aiming for, right?
Yeah.
Unity plugin in the browser, so the gestures will go through that, and yeah, so it's possible. So you could have a web-based service. Interesting.
Interesting.
So Peter has done a lot of UI work this week, and that's actually a bit of a theme for the week. There's a lot of UI work going on, and that's especially for the guys that are starting from scratch. That's the number one job, right? Get that UI sorted out. And actually it might be a little bit easier for the guys that start from scratch, because guys that have pre-existing software have pre-existing UIs which may not map perfectly to gestures.
Yeah.
So, maybe there's a little bit of an advantage for the guys that are starting with from scratch with an app. So, yeah, so Peter's post goes through all that. There's a whole load of coding stuff. He's also working in the Windows Presentation Foundation.
Which is different than most of the other
Yeah, a lot of the
teams,
guys are using Unity, so that will be interesting to see how that works. So if you're into that, Windows WPF, definitely check out Peter's post. There's a load of information there. 1, 2, 3.
So we're coming back. We're going to be talking about. It totally worked. We're going to be talking about Eskil. So
yeah, Peter Eskil Steinberg.
Eskil Steinberg. So you're doing the framework. My input right now is when I was reading the project outline, and the first week and then this week. To be honest, I'm a little confused because there's a lot of big ideas and a lot of big concepts, and I'm not sure how they're playing out in reality. Like, I'm not sure what the logistical points where you're moving forward are. Like, it's a framework, and I thought it was being related back to the games that you'd been developing previously, because you talk about the APIs that are previously existing in your games that are already on the market, that were just released. And so is it just a framework, and how does that show off how does a framework show off the Perceptual Computing SDK?
Yeah.
Because then somebody else has to do something with your framework.
So yeah, we spoke about this yesterday, didn't we? And actually, we had two slightly different ideas of what Eskil was trying to do. So maybe Eskil needs to just, in the next post, just give us a very, very brief summary of what you're going to do and what's going to come out the bottom. Is it going to be a presentation of how gestures can be used with the Ultimate, or is it a framework on which someone else can do the demonstration? Because the whole idea of this project is obviously to showcase what's possible, and although a framework for a gesture input for user interface might be a fantastic project, it may not have the desired sort of result in terms of this competition, right?
Yeah. Please take my hand and walk me through.
Yeah.
I need some hand holding right now, I think.
Hand gesture.
Hand gesture holding. So who's next?
Should we do Lee? Crazy Lee.
Crazy Lee.
Yeah.
Very verbosely.
I love this one. His post starts off the day in the life of a coder, and it starts off at like 1:30 in the morning. It starts at 1:30 in the morning, stops about 4, and then restarts at 7 a.m. That's just a classic. Brilliantly, well done. But so Lee is doing something I find personally really, really interesting. So he's taken the 3D representation in terms of data and inputting that into a kind of video conferencing scenario where, rather than sending video image of the face, he's going to be sending a representation of the face through to the other end and then recreating that face. And that could be a very professional recreation, it could be a fun recreation, or it could be a recreation that you can choose yourself. So you could map yourself onto Mickey Mouse's face or something. And there's that fun aspect of it. There's also this aspect that it could be a very, very low data rate video conferencing stream, so it has applications in other places as well. So where you haven't got high bandwidth, you could actually do video conferencing over very, very low bandwidths by just sending the data and then recreating the face at the other side, because you could actually potentially map it onto your own face at the other end.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it would look a little bit weird, it wouldn't be perfect, but it would be way, way better than what's possible on low bandwidths right now.
Well, my favorite application is Skype, and I've been on Google Hangouts since Google Plus started. I've been always missing a couple of features. I mean, you've been referring to what Cyberlink did, with some additional webcam software. Microsoft also did it. I could get some funny hats on me.
Yeah,
well,
you can.
I could do that, absolutely. And there are some plugins for Google Plus where, for example, can just place a title with my name on the bottom of the picture. But it all felt like being a kind of additional better status plugin, nothing that really excited me. And teleconferencing, online collaboration, communication, video conferencing is such a huge market. It's one of the biggest market in the world. I guess it seems only Skype can kind of handle it right now. Even though Google Plus is big, right? You should never underestimate this. But has anyone ever done a Facebook one-to-one hangout thingy? No. Why should I do that?
Do chat on Facebook.
Yeah, I try to keep it off because I'm like, I have too many people I don't know.
So the market is huge. People know about this. If you're coming up with a decent plugin that's not only fun to use, but is also a professional and a kind of enterprise and getting things done twist to it, this would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like the potential applications onto smartphones as well, I think is huge because I'm not a big, I'm a Windows phone user, and I do it because it keeps me focused at conferences. Sure. It's me. But I do it on the road because of the always on Skype.
Symbian.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I pay for the US Skype number, and it's always on, no matter where I am, and it's zero battery drain, and people can call me no matter what country I'm in.
That's really cool. Yeah.
It's really cool, and so imagine the same application on different platforms, smartphone platforms as well. Or I know it's an Ultrabook challenge, but I mean the implications of what you're trying to do. They just have such far reaches that you could continue on with this after the next 7 weeks and know that you're going somewhere good.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the really exciting thing I think about this project.
Yeah. And of course Lee's crazy posts.
Yeah, your crazy posts. Yeah.
Keep it up, Lee. You gotta be careful, mate.
All right. So who's up next?
Simian Squared. The clay people.
Oh, the clay people. Yes.
Oh, my love.
I know.
My darling.
I like these ghosts.
For your touch.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's 11:54 midday in Barcelona. I'm not sure what they had in their coffees. They're setting up lunch.
Guys, so we're actually doing this. Yeah, we're doing this from the Ericsson booth. And guys, this is the most amazing booth we've ever seen. Hey, right? So it's the most amazing booth we've ever seen, and it's like a small city. There's people with bicycling around, handing out food. It's unbelievable. Right?
They have amazing breakfast.
Amazing breakfast. We're gonna see lunch in a second.
I think it's one of the most welcoming booths I've ever seen in the last 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're doing Simian Squared now.
Simian Squared.
This is the pottery application.
Yeah.
I like that you're not going for the realistic use of clay. Kind of, actually, but I guess the thing that I brought up was I like the idea of there's the 10-finger point recognition with the camera.
Yeah.
Right, and so we're molding the clay, but then I for some reason if you've ever done pottery, you can reach inside.
Isn't that what it's all about?
But you can reach inside and pull up the clay.
Exactly.
Right, and you can pull up the clay. How's that going to work? Right,
because effectively you've only got.
They could have a gesture for this. Right?
Yeah. So I mean, but this is something we're going to have to see because that's a big part of pottery, right? So you can sculpt it up and then you can kind of lift it up. And I know you don't want to be realistic; you're going for the relaxation effect, kind of, I guess. But I mean, but this is something that if it's a pottery app, that you have to have this available.
It's going to be a challenge how to use the 3D camera in here, and how to use gesture control, to finally kind of get the molding done of your pottery. I'm very excited to see this. I'm very excited to play around with it. Plus, on top of it, they need to make sure that this is in an environment that is inviting, like the Ericsson booth over here.
Like the Ericsson.
Gosh, we pitched Ericsson now.
They better love us.
Pottery seems to me so relaxing. it's like I'm meeting my therapist. I don't have any therapist.
Yeah, you said it.
I've been working together with her for 4 years, and I don't have any therapist so far.
She's got 5. You got 9. She's got 5.
So I want to have a relaxing environment. I want to have relaxing music, and it could be even something very surreal, a fantasy world, right? Make something new, something completely new, and therefore I would guess, I would just love to see it. I just would love to see what. I mean, it can't be just a pottery sim.
Yeah.
But even
Right.
that,
Yeah.
I find weirdly interesting. A pottery sim. I mean, in the same way that people find those train simulator programs interesting, you know.
I don't find those interesting.
Maybe I'm a pottery geek, or maybe
pottery geek.
But no, on a serious note, the one thing about this one though is there's going to be a lot of computational work here. So this is going to be one that might really need all the power of the Ultrabook, you know, because there's a lot of computational work. You've got all the gestures, and getting that 3D modeling going in real time. Spinning with the gesture control to me is you know, that's going to take a lot of CPU. And I think
with bicycles driving around.
Yeah, people with bicycles. Yeah, there's a girl with a bike right over here. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So yeah, the computational aspect of that one, I think, is there's quite a challenge there. So the two guys from London, I think, have a bit on their hands. I love the graphics they're doing on their posts, you know, that show, you know, the pencil sketches of what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's really good stuff. These guys are really sort of professional on the art side of it. So I'm really interested to see what they come up with there.
Absolutely.
So who's up next?
But that's it. We've done them all, I think. So we've done Peter, we've done Code Monkeys, we've done Simeon Squared, Eskil, Sixth Sense Lee, and Brass Monkey, and that was all of them. The 7 guys, and they've got how many? 5 weeks left, plus a break week in between. This is
they have some pressure, definitely.
Yeah,
they really have some pressure. But I think it's worth it. And okay, I need to add something else. I think it was in the Brass Monkey guys. They were talking about sharing and talking to the other competitors and challengers.
Yeah.
And I think this is very important. Because all your creations and all the projects that you're working on are so different from each other. So just share your ideas. Maybe share your workarounds. Share, you know, some code snippets if you find them. It's gonna help us. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
And it's gonna help all of you guys out there.
Oh, the one thing that I do want to add, everyone who's gotten into the gaze tracking, right? That's super interesting, right?
Oh, wow.
But I think the killer app of the whole Perceptual Computing SDK is the gaze tracking and the pupil tracking. I had no idea that they could attempt to track the pupil as well as the gaze, right? And the future implications for tech in general, like this is where we're going to start to see like all the stuff that scares the crap out of me, and I'm not sure that I want. Like when I'm surfing a web page and then it sees that I automatically looked at the dresses first, and then I looked at this color first, and then the following page is more tailored all seamlessly. I mean, like this is when we're starting to get into the true Minority part, like not just the gesture hand stuff, like the actual scary stuff of the Minority Report. And so it's here. Right, and like you guys are tracking that, I think, but I think that I want to read more about this.
Yeah,
right, just in general.
I think it was Brass Monkeys that found that they could actually work out where the pupils were.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's amazing.
I don't know if they're going to have the accuracy to do it. I mean, I would if I was
maybe
part of one of those teams.
Not in the beta SDK.
I mean, when we started our little video, we've been talking about accuracy and latency, especially on a shooter game. But in my opinion, there are ways to work around this issue. If the camera is too slow, if the camera technology right now is too slow, then make sure that you're optimizing your shooter for it. Then it can't be any kind of Counter-Strike clone, right? Or Quake or whatever, where people, I remember playing Quake against some professionals like 12 years ago, and they got rid of all the textures. It was just only one color in there, so that they can run it at 180 frames a second, right? And that they're not getting disturbed by anything else that is in this world, right? It was all about just seeing your enemy and taking
so
it down.
Optimization for the
then
experience.
Your shooter needs to look a little bit different. It can't be so super fast, but there are other ways to make it exciting then.
Jelly World. It needs to be Jelly World or Goo World, where everything was really slow.
Prince Valium is in the house. No, it shouldn't be in slow motion, but you know what I mean, right? It's just the way you're going to interact with it should be a little bit different. But what I like about this, it shows you all different perspectives of the perceptual computing SDK.
Yeah.
And that's really cool because as soon as we're getting this one program or one app that really shows you whatever you can do with it in just one huge package, or maybe a small package, doesn't matter, but in a package, this will educate people about perceptual computing, and that still is a challenge. Mm-hmm. When I'm having these arguments with my readers, telling me, "Oh, I'm not going to use a touchscreen on a notebook because it's so tiring for your arm and for your hands." Right? I'm sticking with my touchpad or my trackpad. This is not going to be a substitute for it. Right? You're still going to use your trackpad or your touchpad, but there are so many scenarios where you would love to touch the screen. And as soon as you've used a touchscreen on your Ultrabook for 2 or 3 days and you're going back to an ordinary Ultrabook without any touchscreen, guess what's going to happen? You're going to clean the screen every 10 minutes because of all the fingerprints.
Yeah.
So it's about education, and it's about just opening a whole new gate and a whole new world for the users to interact with their systems.
So I think we should wrap it up.
Yep.
And there is one more judge on this panel, Chris Monder. And I think of the three of us, he's the most technical.
He's the coding geek.
Or the four of us.
Yeah.
Of the four of us. He's definitely the most technical. He's definitely the big coding geek. So he wasn't here at MWC, which kind of makes sense because this show is crazy.
GDC, right?
Yeah, we're going to see Chris at GDC. So I think at GDC we'll all do another one of these videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and then we'll see the teams as well, I think, right? Yeah, we'll see all you guys. Yeah, don't cry.
So should we mention the website for the competition, which is, you had it up there.
Had it up there.
Well, the Twitter hashtag is Ultimate Coder. So you can track everything on Twitter with the hashtag Ultimate Coder. And it's software.intel.com. I think you'll see it if you go to the Ultrabook section, it's pretty much up front there. So software.intel.com, go to the Ultrabook section, you'll see the coding challenge details there.
Yeah, Ultimate Coder Challenge, going Perceptual. In the video description, I'll have a link there, so you can just click there.
I'm going to bring it up right now.
I'm doing the eye train.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.